Yeah, let's go. Hello, 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 and welcome to a special edition of Updog Sports Talk.
Yeah.
My name is Matt Miller, and we have a very personal AFC East show today because big Bills fan and co-host of this show, Justin McGovern, is on. What is up, Justin?
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. Definitely talking about the Bills this year is more exciting than ever. They have not been this good since I was like 2 years old. So definitely excited to jump into that. I know for a long time talking about the Bills is not fun, but this year it is. So let's dive right in here and just, you know what? We're going to start with the Bills right away.
I'm fine with that. Justin, you want to take the lead on this?
Man, dude. Super Bowl favorites is just insane to me. Like, I grew up pretty much like with them being like, third or fourth in the division. And now they're Super Bowl favorites. It's crazy to think about. But this team definitely still has, it's got its pluses and minuses. Obviously, this man right here, Josh Allen, is a contender for MVP. Excellent receiving core. They obviously have improved the offensive line with the addition of Roger Saffold. But definitely the big question mark up front is lack of depth. And there's been some injuries already this offseason. So that is a concern. They definitely need to work on depth up front. And then running back now, they seem to have a committee. We seem to have figured out a lot with Singletary, did well late in the year, kind of taking on a lot of the carries, but he struggles as a pass catcher. So insert James Cook as a pass catcher. The man wheel routed Alabama for 60-yard touchdowns quite a few times in college. So I'm excited to see how they use him. And then on the defensive side, they had a defensive line that was kind of an interesting one to look at because they were good at getting the pressure on the quarterback in most cases. And they could stop the run in most cases. But against good run games, they got absolutely trampled, especially by the Titans and Colts. And they only had 5 sacks all year against playoff teams. So how do you fix that? Well, they added a few bigger, meatier men, Matt.
Bigger, meatier men.
To kind of help fix that. Meanwhile, I'm battling with my mic here. But added some to them like Jordan Phillips to help stop the run. And then in the pass rush, they simply just needed a closer. They needed someone more speed to get someone like Patrick Mahomes down because Mahomes could pretty much run away from the defensive line last year. That man is Von Miller. I'm so excited to have him on the defense. He is going to play very well. He just needs to stay healthy and make it to the playoffs. In linebackers, Matt Milano's still back. He needs to stay healthy because the defense is lost without him. And then Tremaine Edwards is in a contract year. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. Corner is the biggest question mark on this whole team. Tre'Davious White's recovering from a torn ACL. He needs to get back and play well. They need to take it easy on him until he's ready because they need him for the playoffs for sure. They sorely missed him against the Chiefs last year. And then the second corner spot is a massive question mark. They drafted Tyre Elam in the first round to fill that spot. So far in camp, results haven't been great, but he's also going up against tough receivers. So is it a product of the receivers or is he really struggling? Actually, 6th-round pick Christian Benford has actually outperformed him at times. So that's a huge question mark. They need to find solutions there. Safety tandem of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer are good as always. They need to stay healthy as well. So yeah, basically a lot of strengths here. Matt, I know I took this one myself, but it's all in line for this team. I mean, this is definitely the most exciting year to go into. I'm also nervous at the same time because there's a lot of expectations. Get to see this team play more often than I usually do. So very excited for the season. Feels like we're division favorites, and hopefully we pan out.
So I just want to let you go there for a little bit. But you said everything that I needed to say, but I'm just going to throw in a couple other things. So obviously, Josh Allen one of the favorite, or I think he is the favorite for MVP. They're the favorite for the Super Bowl. They got to live up to those expectations. That's a lot of weight on a team that hasn't performed well deep in the playoffs. So I love the Bills. I've trashed on them for years, literally just because of you, Justin. But I do deep
You
down
really have.
actually like the Bills. I mean, I love James Cook draft, or them drafting him, because Singletary, he's hit or miss to me. Zach Moss has not lived up to expectations. Getting him, he has some real promise. So
Yeah.
got a pat, like, you obviously have a pass game. Josh Allen can run the ball, and you get another running back that can step in there and actually be able to run. And then defensively, Von Miller's huge. My only question mark is he is getting older, and he's hasn't been the focal point of a defensive line in a while. But since he got traded after his Halloween party to the Rams, but like he had it easy last year, and he's still like he had a decent year, but he didn't live up to Von Miller expectations. So maybe he gets back to that. Maybe he doesn't, but it's still an upgrade from what they had last year. When he's healthy, he's gonna eat. Ed Oliver, to me, just needs to step up a little bit more. They now have depth behind him, so it's not just him, but he's got to take that next step and be who he was in Houston.
All indications of camp so far seem to be saying yes to that. He has been crazy good.
Elam, personally, I really like him. I was actually hoping he'd go to the Bengals. I'm okay with how things turned out, but Jamar Chase struggled last year in camp and in the preseason. He ended up being one of the best receivers in the NFL. So I don't put too much stock into right now. My thing is week 4, you got to figure it out a little bit to be able to succeed. So that's my cutoff line for him. I'm glad to hear that they got Christian Benford come into play, because if Elam doesn't, he will, or at least for a little bit, and then they can swap back. But did Poyer get hurt for a while, or was he only hurt for a little bit?
He's hurt for probably a lot of the preseason. But so far it's optimistic he'll be back by week 1.
Yeah. So he'll be back, and then it's health in the secondary.
Absolutely.
They got to keep what they have, and if White gets hurt, if Elam gets hurt, or Benford gets hurt, they got nobody after that. They're pretty top heavy when it comes to corners, so they're going to have to rely on Von Miller's pass rush to force some turnovers. And overall, they just got to get out of their own way. They had a shot. They had the team, and they had a shot to beat Kansas City last year, but it was because of a stupid coin flip that it decided it. So got the wrong end of that coin flip.
Still have not recovered from that game, by the way.
As a Bengals fan, I hate to say it, but Bills are favorites. We've talked a lot about the Bills. Let's move on.
All right, on to the next team. The Miami Dolphins. Now, the one thing I got to say about the Dolphins is obviously they're currently riding the second longest streak in the NFL without a playoff appearance, second longest streak in the NFL without a playoff win. The reason why is because they have been just so directionless for a long time. And honestly, it felt like that this offseason when they fired Brian
Flores.
Yeah. When they fired Beeflo, like I felt the same way. Like it was like, what is this team doing? They felt like they were making progress with him, and then they fired him. It honestly felt like a stupid move at the time. But this guy right here, Mike McDaniel, he's kind of won me over a little bit. Like he will sit there in the pocket and answer, like he'll give a quick witted, like well thought out answer, like super quickly with any question you ask him. He's quite the character of a guy. And obviously, like he seems to won me over for being a 0-win coach, which is actually a quote from Mike McDaniel himself, what he called himself. This guy is going to be interesting to see as a coach because it feels like he's got a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Dolphins then followed that up by making some huge moves. I mean, acquiring Tyreek Hill is a massive move. He has dramatically changed this receiving core. I mean, he brings a weapon like no other. There's no other weapon in the NFL like Tyreek Hill with his speed. And you get him alongside Jalen Waddle, add in Cedric Wilson in the slot, and you got quite the core receivers. Gesicki's still there at tight end too.
Yeah,
They
I
also
they
made
did
moves.
they so on offense, I'm gonna just keep butting in because we took a decent amount of time with the Bills.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Waddle, Hill, and Wilson are a great trio to have for Tua. Upgrading the offensive
Absolutely.
line is absolutely huge. Love Mike McDaniel. Like he's like walking up to a a, a Harvard graduate and then just having a conversation with them. Like he's so smart when it comes to football, but um he's taken over a lot. He was in charge of the uh 49ers run game, part of the reason why Debo had such a great year last year, but he's never been a head coach and never led a team. So
Zero in coach.
pressure's on, but it's also on Tua because they put in a lot around him with a smart coach, and it's on his shoulders now to win some football games.
Yeah,
Defensively,
absolutely.
we'll move
I
on to
mean,
defense because
it's
we spent
hang
enough
on, no,
time.
no,
But
no. Let's go back to Tua real quick because I mean, Tua's career has been insane. Like, it's now been confirmed that the Dolphins have been chasing Tom Brady since before they drafted Tua, and basically the whole time that Tua's been there. Then they chased after Deshaun Watson. Like, they literally have not wanted this guy the whole time. Have surrounded him with very little receiver until they finally got Waddle. Surrounded him with terrible offensive line, bottom 5 in the NFL. Now he finally surrounded by people. Let's see what he can do. Now on to
yeah,
the
and
defense.
one thing I forgot to mention: listen to their running backs: Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michelle, and Miles Gaskin. That's a lot of speed.
Yeah. Well, except for Gaskin, he's not really a fast guy, but
No, but I mean,
tons of
like
speeds.
he's had some success. He's had some pretty good games. So,
Yeah.
um, he kind of has it figured out at least to be a role guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mostert, it's a huge question if he can ever stay healthy. He made it like 10 plays last year. But that guy is so fast when he's healthy and can play.
And
So,
Edmonds is fast and halfway decent. So like
yeah,
they got a thing going here offensively. Um,
absolutely.
moving on to the defense. Uh,
More question marks.
yeah. Pass rush. That's my big thing. Um, Jalen Phillips is pretty good. Ogba's got to do better.
Yeah.
Um, Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins are just men, but they gotta they struggle at times. They gotta be
Yeah.
more consistent.
I would
Um,
say Raekwon Davis struggled more than Wilkins did. Wilkins is
yeah,
kind of the stud of the defensive line, but
yeah.
Davis struggled a little bit at times. And
Linebacker. My big thing is Melvin Ingram.
yeah,
Is he the Melvin
what?
Ingram from L.A. / San Diego, or is he the Melvin Ingram from the Patriots, where he was okay, but
Yeah, it's just a
you
question
know,
at age 33, like how much does he have left in the tank?
yeah, great locker room guy. Like he knows his stuff. He'll teach the young guys, but secondary, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, obviously, Xavier Howard is one of the top corners in the NFL. Byron Jones, he is very talented. Kind of struggled at times last year, but he's still really good and definitely has potential to play super well. Um, yeah, I mean, overall, not a lot of bad things you can say about this secondary. Linebacker's a little bit of question mark though.
Yeah. I like Jerome Baker, but they're
Yeah, they're
yeah, they're
hoping.
pretty thin.
Yeah, I think they're hoping for some rookies to kind of step in and help out there, but so they're a little bit thin in that position.
But yeah, overall, upside, they're not gonna push past the Bills. That's not happening. But they can go for a wild card. They'd be in the race. I honestly don't think they're gonna get it just because of the teams out west, but man, they severely improved from what they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's impressive what they've done. Just this offseason, they've improved a lot. Like they made a
Losing out on
lot
Tom
of
Brady as an owner.
and Sean Payton as a coach at one point.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've improved a lot this offseason. Schedule's gonna be really difficult because AFC East is more difficult now. They also draw the AFC North, which is going to be a tough division that we'll cover later on. So it'll be a tough schedule, but I do think this team is a contender to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Who we got next
on our list? The New England Patriots. Now, obviously, the one thing we always have to talk about with the Patriots is, they're tough to predict because we are dealing with one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL with this team.
Yeah, he got didn't he get Joe Judge back too?
Yeah, they got Joe Judge back in the staff. He obviously seems to be working better under Bill Belichick than he does on his own, that's for sure. But yeah, they have Mac Jones, who, I mean, literally talk about something falling perfectly in your lap. Mac Jones, he was a quarterback that, had it pretty easy in college. You're not going to have the equivalent of what he had in college, where he was throwing the 4 first-round picks and surrounded by an NFL offensive line.
But when you look at him on tape last year, he looked halfway decent. Like he exceeded my expectations of him.
I thought that he landed in the perfect place for him. He is the Patriots system literally hits perfectly for all his strengths. He is a very intelligent, accurate quarterback, and the Patriots system is built perfect for that. One thing we forgot to talk about the Dolphins was the one move I hated them making this offseason was trading Devontae Parker to the Patriots. The Dolphins were feeling like a clear number 2 in the division. Why would you give the Patriots the number 1 guy? Why would you do that in the division for nothing? Like that move made no sense to me.
That was pretty bad. But on the Patriots, now Mac Jones has another guy.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith kind of I think he got hurt and then it hasn't been the same since. And then Hunter Henry, it hasn't been the Hunter Henry that we saw in for the Chargers, but he's still been pretty solid. The offensive line is really good. I like Owenu. David Andrews is obviously really good. Trent Brown. Who the hell is Cole Strange and why did they draft him way too early?
It's one of those things where you're like, oh man, I mean, but Bill Belichick reached for him.
I guess you can say that was strange.
Maybe Cole Strange. I mean, maybe they saw something that no one else saw. I think Cole Strange already is number 1 in the depth chart, so that's a good sign for how he's performing. I mean, this is the typical thing though. Like every once in a while it doesn't work. Like every once in a while the Patriots just mail a draft in and get nobody out of it. Sometimes they reach for a guy and end up getting something out of them. And
gold. So we'll see what Bill Belichick can do, but my expectations are not high of him. But the rest of the offensive line is solid. If you have 4 good offensive linemen, 1 bad offensive lineman, you still got a good offensive line. So, but defensively,
hey, don't forget about those running backs too.
Yeah, that's true. Damian Harris, Stevenson's really good. I think James White is still there.
James White is recovering from injury. It doesn't sound optimistic that even if he comes back, if he'll be like the same he has.
They do have Ty Montgomery too, so he's really good. He's a really good pass catcher.
And they just added a 4th-round pick, Pierre Strong. So he'll probably come out of nowhere to be super good too, like Ramondre Stevenson did last year.
Yeah.
But
We got to move on to the
Patriots and
defense
running
because
backs.
we spent a lot of time on the Dolphins and Patriots, or the Dolphins and Bills. So moving on to the defense, um, they got halfway decent defense.
Yeah, I mean the
I'm
defensive
not saying
line
it's like
strong up front.
it's not, yeah, it's not the best, but it's very, very serviceable.
Yeah. I mean, I would say very strong up front. They're not going to get pushed around by any means. They're going to get to the passer too. Matthew Judon obviously
Yeah.
is the star pass rusher of this team.
And
Defensive
Lawrence
linemen are kind
Guy
of more
is a
complementary
guy.
pieces. Big man up front.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they kind of the only time they struggled last year was sometimes like Isaiah McKenzie tore them up last year because they couldn't keep up with his speed. So speed might still be an issue for this team. Linebackers a bit of a question mark is they let Kyle Van Noy go for some reason. I'm not really sure what happened there. And then corner, they brought Malcolm Butler back from retirement almost to fill in because they lost. I mean, J.C.
JC
Jackson
Jackson.
was one of the
That
best.
was a huge loss. If they
He
would
was
have
one of
just
the best
signed
corners
him,
in the NFL last year.
yeah, I would have wrote him into a wild card spot had they kept JC Jackson, but I mean, I did not realize they have Jabril Peppers. I thought he was still in New York, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Honestly, I don't think
they got
he's
some
even a
depth.
starter right now.
He's
Yeah, they
not.
have depth.
Devin McCourty's still there.
Yeah, Devin McCourty, and then oh man, what's his name?
Adrian or
The other
Adrian Phillips is there.
Kyle Duggar. Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, Kyle
That's the
Duggar's
other
there too.
starter. Yeah, so he's
But
pretty
they
good.
did
He
just
was a
they got Raekwon McMillan. I didn't realize that either.
yeah.
So they got a solid team. Up to them to
I
kind
mean,
of
you
see
know,
if they can
Bill
make the wild
Belichick's
card.
going to
They're
squeeze.
still not getting past the Bills. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, and you know, Bill Belichick's going to squeeze the most out of it.
All right, everyone hates the Patriots. Let's move on to our final team.
I mean, look at this wonderful face. Moving on. The New Jersey Jets. Now, obviously, we know what this team is. They had a lot of development still to go. Zach Wilson was terrible last year. Is he ready to step it up?
So far in camp, it's saying no. But
yeah,
he is out there just banging his mom's friends, so
oh no, Matt, you went there, didn't you? I mean,
had to.
I mean, with the picture we picked out, I guess I knew we were going to go this way at some point. We just had to go to this scumbag place.
Everyone's talking about it. We got to jump on it too.
That's unavoidable.
I like their receivers, but news broke probably like the day before the show. That what's his name?
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, Becton is out for the season. So huge blow to them. I actually
that is. And
I had them as like middle of the road, like 7 wins without outside the playoff race. I had them as a severe improvement. Now I'm not so sure just because Zach Wilson's back to no offensive line. So
and Matt, I even told you, like I literally text you. I literally think day of I was like, you know, if as long as Mekhi Becton can stay healthy, the Jets will have a pretty good offensive line. But if he does not, then the Jets have trouble because they don't have much depth. And I kid you not, literally, like he got injured like 2 hours after that text. Like, so immediately,
you should just not talk about players for quite a while. You're just stop getting them hurt.
But yeah, so
I do like Garrett Wilson though. I will tell you, him, Corey Davis, and Elijah Moore, although very young,
Braxton Berrios.
Berrios. I've always liked Berrios. And then Denzel Mims with some speed. If he steps up at all, they got quite an offense. He just has no protection. CJ Uzama, not a bad tight end. I wouldn't label him as the best, but great locker room guy. He's gonna pump everyone up. And then Brees Hall, huge draft.
Yeah. He adds a true threat at the running back position.
All right, I'm excited. We got to move on to the defense. Carl Lawson, former Bengal, has to stay healthy. If he's healthy, they actually have a decent defensive line. Franklin
Yeah, he
Myers,
went
I
down
saw what
last
he did in the
year.
Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a low-key addition. That's pretty good. Yeah, Carl Lawson went down like immediately last year. That was a massive backbreaker for the defense because without him, they couldn't get any pass rush. They'll still not have a great pass rush, but at least they'll have
But
a guy that can get after them.
what is Jermaine Johnson going to look like?
Yeah,
Because
he dropped a little bit.
I had him top 10. He has that talent, but I could very easily see him just get caught up in New York.
Yeah, there are character concerns there. So how does that
all right,
impact his
shut up. I want to
development?
move on. Sauce Gardner. I've been waiting for this one. I think he's going to excel in the NFL. I'm not even going to talk about the linebackers. CJ Mosley, you're old. Let's see what you can do. Sauce
He
Gardner
stinks.
could be the next Darrell Revis. Could be just Adoree Jackson, I guess. I think he's going to be really good. I watched him play in college against some decent receivers, so man, he's good. And then Lamarcus Joyner, Jordan Whitehead, they're upgrading the secondary. A couple years ago when it was just Jamal Adams, it was terrible. And then now that he's gone, they don't look bad. DJ Reed's solid.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner gives them like a top corner that they haven't really had for some time now. I mean, it's been many years since they've had a top corner. So that's a huge addition. And yeah, like you said, the safeties look pretty solid. Definitely linebackers
Not the best, but like
yeah,
serviceable.
a very solid tandem.
Yeah.
There's some questions with other corners.
Other Michael Carter, not the running back on their team, but their corner. He's got to step up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was a 5th round pick, or 4th round pick, but come on, dude. Go with the times. It's the New York Jets.
New Jersey Jets.
Yeah, that's right. In the middle of a lawsuit, we got to go with the side that might win. New Jersey Jets.
I'm pushing for it. I'm pushing for New Jersey, because that's where they're located. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say about this team. It's a huge uphill climb to get out of the bottom of the division.
Yeah. So what do we got as the order?
All right, on to Mad and I's predictions. Da-da-da. As you can see, you can explain your picks.
So actually comparing mine to yours, Bills, obviously number 1 in the NFL. We're both picking the Bills there. There's no doubt about that. I personally have the Patriots ahead of the Dolphins only because I think they have a more well-rounded team. Plus, Bill Belichick has more experience than Mike McDaniel. I don't think the Dolphins are going to do bad, and I'm hoping that they finish second in the division. But I just think the Patriots edge this one out. And then the Jets, despite improvement and Becton's injury, I think they're going to be bottom dwellers. Maybe it takes one more draft for them to start competing in the division.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would agree with, though. Like, I think the Jets are setting themselves up for the future now. They've surrounded Zach Wilson with enough weapons that they can find out this year if he's going to be their quarterback in the future or not. If he sucks this year, then
next year's
back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
and a great.
But next year's a really good draft for it. So this is when you find out about it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Jets still work to do. The Patriots, it was tough between the Patriots and Dolphins. In the end, I just barely went with the Dolphins over them. I think McDaniel will find a way to use Hill. I know the Dolphins are going to win the season opener because it's in Miami and New England always loses that game. So I kind of puts them behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Yeah, you and I both did kind of like eeny, meeny, miny, mo in our head just for the teams, and then we just ended up choosing the different teams.
But yeah, Dolphins, they definitely have favorable with hosting the Bills and the Patriots early in the year when it's hot. Now, obviously, in turn, they do have to go at the Bills and the Patriots in the winter, so that'll be cold games for them. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops. But I'm gonna trust Tua here a little bit. That's the main thing. I decided to trust Tua here. I think he's gonna be able to make a step up because they finally are actually treating him like he's the guy for once. Now that
Yeah.
they finally got in trouble for pursuing Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And obviously, number one, I mean, look at me. Am I going to pick anyone else? Come on now. Go Bills.
So not actually a Dolphins fan. I found this shirt in Dallas. We went to TJ
Of all
Maxx on the way
places.
back from the UC Alabama game. Found a Dolphins shirt, knew that the Dolphins and the Bills don't get along, so just had to piss Justin off with the shirt. So don't forget to like, subscribe. Did you have anything else, Justin?
No, I'm just going to say, we got individual videos going out. So if you just want to hear me talk about the Bills and nothing else, we will have that video as an individual video. Or if you want to avoid it, then you can watch the other three. And yeah, we'll just keep stuff going here. We're halfway through these previews now, but we're excited because we got some more to go.
Yeah, gotta like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon, get some notifications for when we post. Been getting some love lately, so we appreciate that. And then on social media at Updog Sports Talk on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Am I forgetting anything, Justin?
You're not. I think you covered it
right.
all. I mean, that's a lot of social medias to cover, but I think you got them all.
After I'm out of breath, that is the AFC East. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah, see you next time, everyone. Yeah, let's go.